All right, let's dive into something fascinating today. We're going to look at how wellness is being sold, marketed to a group that's maybe more stressed out than ever, teenagers. We're going to pull apart a real-world yoga program designed for them and see how they actually frame the problem and, more importantly, what they're promising as the solution.
And check this out. Right off the bat, the program hits you with this question. But you got to look at the language they're using here. Teen trums. It's kind of clever, right? A little playful. And it's so obviously not aimed at the teen. Nope, this is for the parent. It immediately reframes all that teenage stress into something that sounds, well, solvable, like a tantrum. That is a really powerful marketing move from the get-go. So, before you can sell a solution, you first have to clearly define the problem. And that's exactly what they do here. The problem? The immense, multi-layered pressure of just being a teenager today.
So what exactly are we talking about here? Well, according to the program, it's like a three-front war. You've got academic pressure, you've got peer pressure, and then you have that brilliant catch-all term, teen trums, which kind of covers everything else. This is the battlefield they're saying yoga can help a teenager conquer.
And what's the silver bullet for all this modern-day teenage angst? Well, as you've probably guessed, it's a specialized yoga program. But notice how it's framed, not just as exercise, but as this all-in-one tool for total well-being.
Okay, so this table, this is basically the program's entire elevator pitch, all in one neat little package. First, it's super accessible, right? Beginner, anyone can do it. Then it's measurable, 300 calories. But here's the real sales pitch. It's the journey they're promising. You start with something physical, like flexibility, but you end up with the grand prize, mental and emotional well-being. See what they did there? They're not just selling an exercise class, they are selling a full-on transformation. Okay, so we get the why, but now let's get into the what. What is a teenager actually going to do when they walk into one of these classes? Let's break it down.
So each session is exactly 60 minutes long. For a packed teenage schedule, or for the parent organizing it, that feels pretty manageable. But what's really fascinating is how precisely that single hour is structured.
And just look at this structure. This isn't just some random flow. It is a perfectly balanced 4-part journey. 8 minutes to warm up, 8 minutes for breathing, another 8 for the yoga asana, the actual yoga poses, and then a final 8 minutes for relaxation. It's so deliberate, it's almost mathematical, this approach to finding wellness in just 1 hour. Pretty wild.
Now let's zoom out to the bigger picture. We've seen what one class looks like, but this program is selling a much longer-term transformation. So what are the big promises for those who commit to the whole thing?
The whole program runs for 3 months. It's not this open-ended thing. It's a course. It has a clear start and a clear finish line. And by doing that, it manages expectations and promises a real, tangible change in a specific amount of time. That's a super powerful motivator.
So here it is, the value proposition laid out plain and simple. On the left, you've got what you put in, 2 hours a week for 3 months. And on the right, what you get out of it. These huge aspirational goals like better performance, more confidence, higher self-esteem. This is the deal they're offering. You trade your time and effort for personal growth.
And they promise the good stuff starts stacking up from day one. With every single session, they claim you're not just building strength, but also boosting immunity, vitality, and even, get this, memory power. The message is crystal clear. The rewards aren't just waiting at the finish line, they're happening all along the way. But it's not all just physical. Beyond the poses and the promised health benefits, there's one more piece of the puzzle that this program really highlights. This is their unique selling point, the thing that they say sets them apart from every other yoga class out there. And they've even branded it with this super catchy name, The Takeaway. When you see that, you just have to ask, what is the takeaway? It's presented as this crucial final piece of every single class. And here's our answer. The takeaway has absolutely nothing to do with yoga poses. It's a series of value-based pep talks. This is the program's secret sauce. They're explicitly layering mental and emotional life coaching right on top of the physical exercise. So when you boil it all down, the whole program really comes down to this one simple but really powerful formula. They combine a structured physical yoga practice with an equally structured, very explicit kind of mental and emotional coaching. It's like a two-pronged attack on the whole problem of teenage stress. So this all leaves us with a bigger final question, doesn't it? This program is a perfect example of a really, really structured approach to wellness. And it makes you wonder, for a teenager who's navigating all this insane pressure, what's the right balance?
How much of their well-being should come from organized programs just like this one? And how much should just come from, well, simple, unstructured free time, just the freedom to be a kid? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for diving in with us on this one.